Hello everyone, DapBoy here. Welcome back to my channel. And today's video, I just want to do a quick one to talk about why the Apple Magic Keyboard is actually my favorite keyboard to use for pretty much everything I do regarding desktop activities. And that means I game with the keyboard too. I actually game with this keyboard, and I think it actually performs great for that purpose. So let's start off by just quickly reviewing this keyboard, I think. As you can see right now, this is the very sleek and clean looking keyboard. It is also very lightweight. It is a wireless keyboard that connects using Bluetooth, but it can also be plugged in and serve as a wireless keyboard should you sort of run out of battery in the middle of working or just doing whatever with your keyboard. The battery on this thing is like at least a few weeks worth of juice if you get it, charged up fully, which you can just do so by plugging it in, using it as a wired keyboard, and yeah, it doesn't really hurt your battery as the the circuitry or whatever will smartly detect when it needs to draw power to charge the battery up and when it stops doing so, if I understand it correctly. So unless you somehow just massively overheat the battery inside this keyboard, it should actually be a very long-lasting keyboard in terms of using it wirelessly, which is how you mainly do it anyway. In terms of, I guess, the overall design, again, it looks very clean and minimalistic is how I would describe this keyboard. And yeah, it doesn't even have backlights. It's just a very clean looking keyboard. Now, personally, I will say that the compact version without the numpad over here, actually looks sexier in my opinion, but I just opted this one because I also got uses for this thing when it comes to inputting numbers such as Excel. So yeah, that's why I got this like full-sized version, even though I do think that it is not as sexy looking as the compact version. And yeah, I guess that's all there is to the design. Now, how does it feel to type on this keyboard? I think it feels fantastic to type on this keyboard. It has like a really just smooth typing feel to it. It can feel slightly tactile, akin to something like a Cherry Brown switch. I don't know, but it is a linear switch. It's not like something like a Cherry Blue switch that feels clicky to type on. But I feel like the reason why this thing feels tactile to type with is because because of its low profile keys. When you press on a key, you basically bottom out so fast, and the the force that, what's the word for it? let's just say the force that pushes the key back up is quite strong. So it creates this sort of like feedback that is similar to the tactile feeling that you get from, like, say again, a brown switch, perhaps. So I think that's why it feels tactile, but it is a linear switch. It is a, I think it's called like a Caesar switch or whatever. Let me just take a look at the correct term real quick. It's called low profile Caesar switch keys, which offer a comfortable and quiet typing experience, which I guess I will now be giving you guys a typing sample, how it sounds. I personally just love how just muted this thing sounds. I do actually think that in the case of using like more dedicated mechanical keyboards, you get to, type on something that sounds better, but I don't necessarily need something that produces sound for my working setup. So yeah. Anyways, here is the sample that you guys can hear for yourselves. I'm just typing on random keys right now, and I hope my mic picks up what I'm saying, but yeah, I'm pretty much typing on random keys right now. This is how the keyboard sounds when you type it, or you just use it to game in practice. But yeah, it sounds really quiet, and I just... Alright, let me bring back the mic up real quick. I just love how, it sounds. I don't like loud keyboards that much, I think. But it's absolutely personal, and yeah, you might have a different preference for yourself. So in terms of like the typing experience, it is great, not only for like productivity work, such as, for me, perhaps writing a script or something like that. Feels very amazing to type on this thing. However, when it comes to gaming, I might not represent the average person here, as I find the sort of like shallow travel distance for each key here on this keyboard is actually fine. I have no issues regarding that whatsoever. But that might be different for, other people, and I can't say anything for them. They have to decide whether or not they want a keyboard that has like a deeper traveling distance for the keys. But personally, like just scientifically speaking, when you have a keyboard like with keys this shallow in terms of the traveling distance, it is faster to actuate a switch whenever you perform an action. So in theory, that should actually provide you with, I guess, advantages, especially for more competitive games. And like being wireless doesn't really matter, right? The latency isn't all that insane. And if you are not too confident about the latency, just plug in, like, I would say something like, just plug it in wired and use it like that. It should not affect the battery life anyway. So yeah, but like for me personally, when I game, I only play titles such as Resident Evil, um, the remake, the remakes, and I also played the original 4 as well. I just love those titles, and I play a bit of gacha games. So we're talking stuff like Nikkei, and I mean Nikkei is more like a mouse clicking game, so you are not going to see a lot of like keyboard use. But in terms of like, I guess other games that I play that utilize the keyboard, I will say Half-Life could be a good example here. Like there's a lot of keyboard movements involved. So yeah, I am completely fine. Or oh yeah, Terraria. I forgot to mention the game, but like all those games that I play using this keyboard, I have no issues. Like in fact, after using this keyboard for a while, I mean at first I didn't like how shallow it feels to play, on this keyboard, but the more I use it, the more I'm just like, damn, it doesn't take forever to actuate a switch. Now, I guess there could be an argument to be made here that if you are using a Hall effect keyboard, perhaps you can, set up for yourself where at which point during the pressing down of the switch, you actuate it. So at that point, it doesn't matter. It can literally just outmatch something like this. But aesthetically, this thing is good, and functionally speaking, it is great. You don't need a Hall effect to have the advantages in terms of like how fast a switch gets actuated that this thing has to it. So that is amazing in my opinion. So I mean, yeah, that's probably all there is to it. I'm actually using this keyboard with my Windows. So yeah, no Touch ID or anything like that. The keyboard layout is a bit swapped here, and you have the Alt button sitting next to the space key, but now it becomes like Windows, or rather window key, and then the Alt is swapped. It's pushed to this button here. And I don't think it matters that much, really. After a while, I got used to it, and alt tab just fine. I don't care a lot, really. So yeah, this keyboard. I think another disadvantage you could probably argue is that this thing doesn't have backlight, or what is it called? Like, it's called backlighting, where your keyboard basically glows up when you activate that mode. This doesn't have it, but like I don't look at my keyboard when I type. I mean, who does that anyway? If you are, if you care about efficiency, you should be able to type like that. You just learn how to type properly is what I'm trying to say here. And I also like have some sort of like support lighting on my desk here, so yeah, it's never too dark where I work. So yeah, in terms of like all the visibility and all that stuff, like I have everything covered. This keyboard doesn't have to do that work. And also, like one other thing I would like to sort of like mention here in this video is that due to how like short this keyboard is compared to the average like keyboard, which has like a much bulkier profile when you set it up. This is like straight up very thin. It has like a subtle incline angle to it, like I'd say like 5 degrees or so, I don't know, which is very nice. It can caters to the hands very nicely. For taller keyboards though, if I don't put like a wrist pad or something similar where I, if I don't put such a thing where I type to prop up my, oh my god, I think there's a mosquito. Let me check really fast. God damn it. Anyways, if I don't prop up my wrist using a pad or anything or something like that, it's gonna hurt my wrist a lot after a few hours, because for a taller keyboard you have to bend your wrist up, like so, and after an extended period of time it just feels awful. And it doesn't happen with this keyboard because of how like short it is. It's just so beautiful. I love that. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about this keyboard. And that's why I love it so much. I love how it feels when you type on it. I love how it looks. It just inspires me whenever I sit down and in front of my computer and see this keyboard first thing. I'm just like, damn, let's work. Let's, cook up some good ass scripts and ideas basically. And yeah, and it types great. So when I write, I feel good. When I type, I feel good. When I game, I feel good. And thanks to the very shallow keys, it actually allows you to perform like competitive actions quite easily. So I just want to close off this video by saying that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what gaming gear you use. Like the pros, they use crappy Logitech headphones. They use, there's even like this dude who plays Apex Legend that use freaking Apple earbuds, and he sort of swears by it. It seems. I have one right here, and yeah, I enjoy the heck out of the Apple earbuds, and probably that's going to be another video. But I do also have an Xbox controller, which I don't think I'm going to show here in this video, but when you play games like, Monster Hunter or Elden Ring, just the Soulsborne games that are more designed to be optimally played on a controller, then I switched to that thing. Oh yeah, there's a pretty reasonable or logical comparison that has just come to my mind when it comes to the typing experience of this keyboard. It feels like each press of a key, it feels like you're pressing down on the buttons of the Xbox controller, like those membrane-based buttons, instead of those, like, we're not talking about the mechanical like elite controller here. We're talking about the base controller. Imagine pressing down on the XYAB buttons. That is very close to how it feels to be typing on this keyboard. So yeah, that's everything I want to say. And yeah, this is why I am using the Apple keyboard as my daily driver and have been enjoying the heck out of it. Even when I'm using it on Windows, I don't care. And I hope you learned something from this video. Oh yeah, before I stop recording, I would like to quickly mention that this is like the power switch that you can see here. Right now it's on, so it's like coded green, but it's you cannot see the green here. Like the green is kind of like pushed back here, like inside the space here where you can slide the switch left and right. But yeah, it color codes it so you know when it's on and when it's off. This thing is USB-C Type C connection, so that's great. I mean, you want that, you love to see that, and yeah, that's everything.